Yeah, I'm ready to give you guys another lesson. I'm stoked. You guys stoked to learn? Because I'm stoked. Man, when I pick up a guitar, it's just freaking like magic, man. I go freaking nuts, man. I don't know about you guys, but I love playing guitar. But you know what I love even better is learning something about guitar, because I like to learn too, man. Learning keeps you going. So I love to learn too, and I pick things up from anybody I can, constantly. If I go watch a band play, I don't care who the guy is. I don't care how old he is. He could be 21, 22. He could be 16. I'll be like, dude, what are you doing there? I'll be like, show me that. So I'll show you anything I know. People show me stuff they know. We keep passing the buck along. Today's lesson is a wrap-up video on the ones you've been watching so we can apply what we've learned so far. So, you've learned to build your chords, keys, and scales, and today you're going to learn how to build all the boxes for your keys. Every box for every key. By the end of this lesson, you will know how to build every box in every key diatonically. I did not do that on purpose. You're going to learn to build all your diatonic boxes today and how to apply them. And when you're done, you'll have a plethora of things you can be practicing. And again, you won't master all that before the next video, but you'll know how to play it from now on so you can practice it whenever you want. All right, folks, the first thing we're going to do is to build diatonic boxes, we need to know the names of the notes in the key. We're going to be using the key of G major, aka E minor. So we're going to start all these diatonic boxes, begin from the low E string with their root. I'm going to give you the name of the box and then the root. So we're going to be using the modal names, although we're not using the modes. We're just using the modal names. These are really called just diatonic boxes. We need to give them names. The modal names is how we're going to do that. The first box is called the G. We're starting on G in the key of G. The name of the first box is Ionian. So we're going to start on G. That makes it the G Ionian box. Ionian is the first box. It signifies beginning from the first note of a major key. All right, Ionian. I-O-N-I-A-N. Ionian. All these names are Greek. Now, this first box, the Ionian pattern, means that all the keys you play in will build this same pattern. So let me explain what I said to you earlier, how you would be able to play all the patterns and all the keys. When you build these 7 patterns, one for every letter in the key, right? 7 letters per key, 7 patterns, 1 pattern per letter. When you build these 7 patterns, these 7 diatonic patterns that have the modal names attached to them, you will be applying these same patterns and shapes to the other letters of other keys. So this is the first pattern you're going to learn. It begins on the first letter of any major key. There are 12. We will play mostly in 6 because the songs that are written on guitar that we listen to in popular American music, popular music period I should say, uses about 6 keys on the guitar because we use the guitar-friendly keys. There are 12 keys in music, but some of them are some favor other instruments, just like some favor this instrument. So if you notice, we keep playing in the same about 5 or 6 keys all the time. The reason is this. Right, we have 3 strings that are very common to the guitar, E, A, and D. Now, we have 3 strings that makes 6 keys, folks, right? That's immediately 6 keys you're going to be playing in, right? If you haven't figured out how I got 6, I'm going to tell you how I got 6. If you already know, good for you. You're on point today. Darn. Now, I got 6 because each one is a major and a minor. So, off E, I'm going to play E major or E minor. That's 2 keys. Off A, I'm going to play the key of A minor or A major. That's 4 keys. And I'm going to play D minor or D major. That's 6 keys. That's 6 right there. Now, also, you got a G here. We'll definitely use the key of G, but the point is, for the string purpose, these 3 strings, they're commonly used keys of E, A, and D because the string is there and you can pedal your string. So the reason the E minor key is the most popular key is for the obvious reason, right? It's sitting right there. So there's the E string, thus making E the most popular key. Okay? When you're pedaling this A note, you're going to see the key of A minor all the time. Okay, when you're pedaling the D, you're going to be seeing the key of D minor as well. So that's how that works, okay? So those are the common keys. We will be doing these boxes in the key of G and maybe the key of C. We'll see how it goes. We'll be using C for a comparative purpose to just compare the fact that everything is the same. Now, let's get to building boxes. When I began to build these boxes as a kid, I figured out that we need to keep everything flowing. So to do that, we need the same amount of notes on every string, which is going to be 3. So it's 3 notes per string, and we need the boxes to be 5 frets wide, folks. That is specifically 5. We can't see it in 6. 6 boxes is too big. When I was a kid, I bought these books, and this guy, he had the patterns written out in 6 and 7 frets long, and I'm looking at him, I'm going, how does anybody memorize this stuff? You can't see 7 frets wide when there's another pattern next to it that's 7 frets. And connecting 7 to 7 to 7 to 7 or 6 to 6 to 6 to 6 is impossible. It's not doable. Now, by the time I realized all these boxes were 3 notes per string, 5-note boxes, I realized in order to do that, we had to do some adjustments to the way we play the box. And I'm going to show you what it is. But a year and a half after I figured this out, because I probably figured it out around 14 or 15 years old. And when I was like 16, Steve Vai came out with the 10-hour workout. He later on, a year and a half later, came out with the 30-hour workout, which a lot of you have probably seen. But his original release in the Guitar World magazine was a 10-hour workout. Do this stuff for 10 hours a day, which I definitely did. So he showed us how to build. He didn't show us how to build them, but he gave us the box patterns that were labeled with 5 frets, 3 notes a string. When I saw him repeating the same note that I did, I was like, wow, I'm like a genius. I got the same thing going on as this incredibly, like at the time, he's the best guitar player at the time when he popped on the scene. It was like, oh my gosh, who is this guy? So, he's in there, his article and his writings, in the articles in the magazines, his lessons each month. I'm going, wow, he's teaching the same thing that I figured out on my own. So now I'm teaching it to you. He'll even tell you if you see any of his articles, you'll see the same thing. It's 5 notes, 5 frets, 3 notes a string. But we got to do something to the box to keep it that way. That's what I'm going to show you as we build them right now. So we're going to build with the notes G, A, B. We have 3, 5, and 7 for G, A, B. So you're going to tab this out when we're done. I'm going to show you how to tab it out. We have G, A, B. Underneath it is C, D, E. I assume you guys know all your notes because I have a video. The very first video I released was how to memorize your notes in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And the video still holds true. So I hope you know what you're doing with your notes. And I'm not going to go back and show them to you. I assume you know them already. If you don't, go watch the other video and learn how to memorize your notes, right? So C, D, E is 3, 5, 7. Then we have F sharp, G, A, 4, 5, 7. Then it's B, C, D. On 4, 5, 7 again. We're going to now take this D note, which is the important part of this lesson, and repeat it over here on this B string at the 3rd fret. Because if you don't, then all we're going to get is the D here, and then E and F sharp. And then we don't have a 3rd note, because the 3rd note would be there. You can't use this note because that makes it 6, and we don't want to go over to 6 because your eyes can't memorize seeing 6 frets for a pattern. It won't be able to do anything with it. So you got to keep it to 5, and keeping it to 5 with 3 notes on every string means you've got to repeat this D note again over here. So it's D, E, F sharp, and then G, A, B. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, D, E, F sharp, E, G, A, B. There you go. So I'm trying to. Now, for you guys who can't hold your hand out like this yet, because you're still beginning and you're starting out and you're like, Mezzy, I am nowhere near being able to do that. Don't you think I know that, my friends? And you are my friends. I got you covered on this one. I got you. Relax. Take a chill pill. Take a deep breath. Relax. I'm going to show you right now how to get started on playing this within only a matter of days. You're going to be like, Mezzy, you really are the man. And I will say, thank you. Here's what you're going to do. If you can't make this stretch yet, I'm going to show you how you make it. You're going to put your first finger here. You're going to drop your hand down. We want to be able to see the back of your hand. If you're holding it like that, if your hand is touching the bottom of the guitar, that's a no-no. Stop doing it. That's a bad habit. It's as bad as smoking. Forget about it. Don't do it. Okay. Fingertip. You're going to be, by the way, for you guys that are newbies, you're going to dot your fingers like this to train your brain where to land on the fingers. So you're going to put circles on your fingers right where you want the string to land on your finger, because you're going to usually use a marker. I don't have one today, but I'll show you with a little pen if I can get it to if I can get it to do it. Otherwise I got to get up and go get a marker. Now, you guys, this is if some of you have seen this in my other videos, so good for you. Proud of you for watching them. You need to teach your brain to land on those spots on your fingers. And on the pinky, it's on the side, because you don't play on the point, you play on the side. Get a line there. You have to teach your brain to teach your fingers to land like this. So when you pick them up, they don't lift that far off the guitar. When you play like this, your fingers can do this, and they come way off the guitar. But if you had them like this, and now you try to lift the finger, back it out, it doesn't go very far. Because you're going this way, not this way. So you better learn to do this. And I don't mean like, be mean or anything, but I'm saying you better learn to do it if you ever want to play a guitar and not stink. Because this is the ticket to any diatonic box you will play. You want to keep up with today's clean players. You're not going to be doing this. Just sloppy that is. You do this, your fingers are going to come up like this. Bring them like this, they don't come up. Night and day difference. So learn to do that. Train your fingers. Don't use a pen like I did today. Use a magic marker and get it so that you can tell where it is easily, because you're going to go back and check and see if the lines are through your fingers. Now, that's something you need to train yourself to do. I suggest you get on that ASAP. Now, that's how we build our box. First pattern is called Ionian, named by the note you start on. So this is G Ionian. If you were beginning in the key of A major, you would simply move that pattern to the A note and do the same pattern. It will give you the notes of A major. That'll give you all the notes of A major. If you don't know what they are, I'll show you. You can figure it out. So listen, now you can take the pattern and put it somewhere else and figure out the notes of a new key if you don't already know them. So you can figure them out on paper the way you learned in the other videos. Or if you don't have paper and pencil and you're not at that point, like you're not in the mood to do that, you're just picking up the guitar to play, or while you're jamming around, you could stop and be like, hey, I wonder what's in this key. And go over to like an A and repeat the pattern and then just figure out your notes. It would be A, B, C sharp this time. Then it would be D, E, F sharp, right? Then you would get a F sharp, right? So A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. You go, wow, there's a G sharp there now. B, C sharp, D, E. Repeat the E, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp. You would learn that the key of A major has 3 sharps. And you would see it on the paper as well. So you could test yourself by either building the box, seeing if the letters you get match what you build on paper to see if they work, see if it's the same, so you know you're doing it right. Or you got to look at your paper to know what, build it on paper using your major scale pattern to find out what letters you're looking for. Then when you go looking for those letters, you'll wind up with this pattern. So you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either use the pattern to locate the notes, or you can build the pattern on paper, have the notes, and then find them on the guitar using those notes. So either you use the pattern to find the notes, or you use the notes to build the pattern. It's your choice. I'm giving you both ways. Teaching you the other way first, and now we're learning the other way. Okay? So now we're going to go to the second letter of the key. You are now on A in the key of G. So it's still going to be the letters for the G major scale, only we're beginning from A. So it is now going to go A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A. That's your pattern, folks. This is called the Dorian pattern. Dorian. Dorian. The Dorian pattern begins on the second letter of every single major scale known to man in major land of music. So all 12 keys will play the second pattern this way. So basically you learn all 7 patterns once, and you just reapply them to the new set of letters. If you don't understand what I'm saying about that, leave me a comment and I will help you. So I'll explain it again. Let's look at the second pattern. You might have already known it. You might have been like pausing the video, seeing if you can get it before I even do it, right? Maybe you do that. And before we move on, I'm going to hold to my word. I'm going to show you how to tab out your box. Because you might be like, Mezzy, when are you going to teach us to tab the thing? Well, here it is. You're going to line up your string names on this side of the red line, and you're going to build this. See that? It starts on the low bottom, E, A, D, G, B, E. And you're going to write out your numbers using a notebook. It's easy to see your tab this way. You're going to write your letters out. 357, 357, 457, 457, 357, 357. Then you're going to do this. Because you're all good students who want to be great players. I understand that. So you're going to do this. You're going to do this. You're going to write the name of the letter underneath the notes. Now, for you guys that are die hard, and I do mean the die hardest of hard, I got a bonus for you. Let me get something for you here. Find it. Got one. See if I can locate the other one for you. If I don't, I got to go get one for you. I see one of them here, but I don't see the second one. And that poses a problem. So, you guys are going to wait a second while I go and get something for you. Ah, you're still there. You guys are like, this guy's not even editing his videos. You're darn right I'm not, because this is like a guitar lesson. So like a real lesson, if the teacher had to leave the room for a second, you'd have to practice something, right? Well, here's how this works. Let me show you a little. I showed you already how we use the guitar table, so I'm going to use my table real quick and show you guys something vital to playing the guitar. I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but boy, am I going to show you something that's going to make a difference for you. So, I wasn't going to finish this box, but I'm going to have to finish it to show you this. All right. Okay, I'm just like a slob over here. I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. People are like, dude, how do you teach the guitar? I'm like, I don't know, man. I barely get through my own lessons. I wasn't the best student, let me tell you that. But everybody says I can teach halfway decent, so you guys are going to learn the way I learned and the way everybody else I teach learns. Now, here's what you got. If you guys are super die hard and you really want to be, you want to just crush on the guitar and have skills to be, I wanted to be the best guy in the room whenever I walked in, and I generally am. I want you to be the same thing. When you're playing with other bands and you get to the point where you're in bands, for those of you that want to be in bands, I want you to be the best player when you walk into the room and you got playing with 3 or 4 other bands. I want everybody to know you're the best. Your band is the best. And if you're playing at your house, well, I want all your neighbors to know that you're the guy on the street that kicks, you know what. All right, so here's what we got. We're going to highlight with yellow all the E's, because they are the name of the minor key. And we're going to highlight all the G's for the name of the major key. The reason we do that is when you're in pentatonic land, you're only going to have 2 roots, E and G. And mostly you're only going to use the E's when you're in the minor pentatonic scales, but you'll need to know where the G's are occasionally. This gets you beginning to memorize some of the letters in your boxes, because you do need to know where every note is in every box at some point, at some place in time. And what you're going to do here is memorize the two roots of the key. You have the E and the G. They both name the key. So first and foremost, you want to know where those two notes are that name your key. Because you'll be playing in the key of E minor and G major the most. Out of all the modal sounds, you'll use the minor root of E the most, and G as the major root, you'll use that the most. So you want to know where those two letters are. And when you're in a pentatonic situation, you definitely want to know where the roots are. So highlighting them tells you where they are in the scale. And that's basically what you're going to do so you can memorize where these are. Then what happens is, as we learn the box, you begin to put licks together and pieces of music that end on these roots, because you'll need the roots for later, for later on. So now that we understand that, that's how you write out your tab. 357, 457, you write out the notes. This way you can memorize it. After you write it out once, you figure it out once, and now it's okay to go and forget it because you got it again. You can just go back and look. You don't have to sit there and go, oh my God, what's the box again? And start counting everything again. If you do that, you're really never going to memorize the box because you have to have something that's solid to look at. Again, it's a visual thing. If you don't look at it and know that it's correct, how are you going to memorize it? You can't think what is the box and then try to commit that to memory. That doesn't work. All these guys that are great players understand this, and that's how they got great. So if you want to get as good as these guys that you know about, your famous heroes and whatnot, and the guys you respect as being the greatest player to you, and whoever they are, understand that these people all reach that level of greatness by doing it the same way. Birds of a feather flock together. All the great players learn it the same way. So if you can learn it the way the great players learned it, then you yourself can be great too. But if you go and try to make your own path and clear your own trail, well, man, God bless you and good luck, because you're going to be the only one forging down that trail, The rest of us are going to take the road and the path that we know gets us there. So that's how you get there. You got to look at it and write it. Look at it and write it. So write it down. Then you write it once and you just keep staring at it and playing it and you'll get it. Now, second box starts on the second letter of the key. This is called Dorian. I know I'm taking a long time to get there, but all this stuff is important because when you're done watching, you'll understand everything now. You won't have questions. If you do, I hope I'm answering them as I go. That's what's taking a while, to answer your questions as we go. Second box begins on A. Second pattern is called Dorian. So since you're beginning on A and it's called Dorian, this is the A Dorian scale or the A Dorian pattern. You can call it a scale because it is a scale. It begins on A. It's called the A Dorian scale. But it's in the key of G, major, and it's the second letter in G, so it's the Dorian pattern. Here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. Repeat the E again, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. You wind up with 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8. And that is what you're going to tab out, not the letters. You're going to tab out 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, just like I did before. I mean, if you really want me to do it with you and show it to you just so you know it's correct, hey, what the heck, I'm here to help you out, right? Let's see if I can't show you what that looks like. Let's do that together, all right? Let's see if you get it done before me, and if you do, speed the video up then. I'm only going to be a couple seconds. But because I remember you got to do the other part of it too, right? You got to finish it. This is only the first half. So if I do it with you, then if I make a mistake, you're going to be like, my gosh, the guy just screwed his own lesson up. So you're going to do this. Now remember, when you do this, don't forget that you got to rewrite. Don't mess your letters up, because you got to double up the G string to the D. Otherwise, the letters don't flow right. You get them all wrong. You get them wrong. So this is what you're looking for. Write out your numbers. Write out your letters. If you guys are mostly minor key players, I would just circle the A. I would want to know where the A is in the pattern. If you're major key players, circle the major name. Circle the, circles to the G or something, whatever you're going to play a lot of. But again, you still want to know where the E and the G's are in these patterns, so you got to know where they are. But the point is, eventually you'll have different color markers. I use the two colors for the roots of the key, but you're building Dorian patterns. So when we get into the patterns later on, you will be rooting off the A a lot. So You just basically got to learn where every single letter is in the key. That is kind of the point there. So we use the roots of major and minor first to get us knowing where everything is. So highlight those first if you want. You can, if you want to go to additional colors and do all the A's in a different color, all the B's, you can. For me, that's just too confusing to see all those different colors on the page. You really just need the two roots of the key. But you do want to know where the A note is in that pattern, so maybe you just circle the A so you know where it is. But the root notes are real easy, folks. They're just draw octaves. They're 1, 2, and 3. So it's always going to be these two in the same fret, and then your octave there. So it's always going to be 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Every single box you build. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So the roots are in the same spots. Those are pretty easy no matter where you play. It's knowing the roots of the key, not the root of the box. Yeah, C, C, C when you build it on C. A when you build it on A. But you need to know where the G and the E is in every box. Or, again, if you play mostly in minor keys, then you're in E minor all the time, then you really just care about the E. Then you don't care about the G. If you're a guy that plays in the G major key all the time, and you're using these boxes for major keys, then the G and the C and the D, knowing where they are, would be more important to you. Again, if you're a minor player, knowing where the E, A, and the B are would be your thing. So, just highlighting at least where the E is throughout the boxes gets you there quickly, because that's the ultimate root note you're going to be using most of the time. Let's get to the third box. We're going to be building it from the B. It's going to be B, C, D. Then it's E, F sharp, G. Then it's A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, right? And what is it going to be from here, folks? I got that F sharp. Now it's F sharp again. Then it's G, then it's A. Then it's B, then it's C, then it's D. What do you get? I don't know. What do you get? Help me out. Right, exactly. 7, 8, 10. Right, you get 7, 9, 10. Right? What is that, 7, 9, 10? You just said it. What is it? Right, E, F sharp, G. Then you're down here again. 7, 9, 10 is A, B, C. Then we get 7, 9, 11, D, E, F sharp. Then it's going to be F sharp is going to be what, guys? 7, come on. 7, 8, 10. A, B, C, right? What is it? A, B? No, come on. You guys got it. It's B, C, D. Don't follow what I'm saying. If I'm wrong, then you go, hey, Mezzy, you're wrong. You're right. I'm testing you. E. F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. So let's summarize. B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. This pattern is a little trickier because it uses all 4 fingers. So go slow. Make sure that you're switching to the right finger at the right time. Learn your half steps between B and C and F sharp and G in this key. So you're expecting to see 1 fret over from the half step. So B is a half to C. There's your D. You can follow your holes in half. Say E, whole step to F sharp. That's how you know it's going to go there. Half step to the G. A, whole to B, half to C. D goes whole to E, whole to F sharp. If you know your holes in halves, it does make building these patterns a lot easier. Then it's F sharp, half step to G, whole step to the A. You go to your B, half step to C, half step, whole step to the D. Let me tell you, if you remember what's on the E string, it's the same thing on this one. So automatically, when you do this one, you already know this one. So as soon as you build the first string for your box, you really know 1/3 of the strings already because you know 2 of them already. So it does help. Now we move to the C and we're going to build. So this is the Phrygian box. If I didn't tell you, Phrygian is 3rd. That is the box that builds all the tension in all your hard rock and metal riffs and all your horror flex. Not all of them, but a lot of time it's Phrygian. But they use a lot of diminished sound as well. But Phrygian is a big time modal sound for building tension. Okay, and then releasing that tension is something we got to learn how to do. But you can build tension with the 3rd sound of Phrygian. So in the key of G, you would say B, Phrygian. All right, whatever letter it is the name. You say the letter B, and then you apply it to the pattern name. The 3rd name is Phrygian, so B Phrygian. Now we move to C. It's going to be called Lydian is the 4th pattern. So this is C Lydian. We're still in the key of C, G major, but we're pretending that C is the root of the key, like he's the temporary root. So now it's the key of G, but beginning from C. So now the notes are what? C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, right? C, D, E, 8, 10, 12. C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, G, A, B, C, D, E. You see that? See how I'm on the tips? All right, that's how you build your box. Now you're going to go back and you're going to tab out 8, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12, 9, 11, 12, 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12. And you're going to do this for each pattern. So now we go to the D, C Lydian, now goes to D Mixolydian, which is the fifth name of your mode. The fifth mode is called Mixolydian. So that's M-I-X-O Lydian, L-Y-D-I-A-N. And we're going to go to the D and play the same scale of G major, but from this D note. D, hold the E, F sharp. Right, that makes this what? Right, G. A, B. Where am I going next? C. So where is it? Go to the D string, back up, there's the C. Look at that. It's all in the same pattern already. It's the same frets each time so far. It's all the same. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. The first three strings are the same. Then you got to move in from the E to the F sharp. So we move in, F sharp, G, A. What do we know now? Where are we? F sharp, G, A, right? What do you know? What are you thinking to yourself? Ding, 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 bell, right? From this A, you're going to go to this A. Don't forget to double up that note. I get people forgetting that all the time. A, B, C. Right, what do we get? D, E, F sharp. So, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. That's your Lydian pattern. That's your Mixolydian pattern. So, this is a major sounding pattern. So, you want to know where the D's are again? The octaves. Bing, bing, bing. Those are your octaves. That's what you be, if you're playing in a diatonic situation and you're using D as the root, then you'd be rooting on these D's. And I'll get into that in another video. But there's time you're going to need to know where the G is. If you're playing in the key of G, you got to know where the G's are. If you're playing in E minor, you got to know where the E's are. If you're rooting off of E. So whatever note you're rooting off of, you're going to need to know what that note is in that particular box. So eventually, you're going to need to know every note of the box. So when you tab them out, as we've just learned how to tab them, you write the letters underneath the notes. And then the notes, eventually you got to learn them all. So you want to know where the roots of the keys are first because you're going to use those the most. Now we move to the E, the most popular of all the minor patterns. The people call E the minor scale. You call this E minor, the E minor scale, the E minor pattern. It's the technical modal name is Aeolian. So this is the E Aeolian pattern, aka the E minor scale. You're going to play it as E, F sharp, G, and then it's going to be A, B, C. You can see what frets are on here, right? D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, repeat the B again, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. You've seen players use this box so many times. Now you know what it is. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Translates to, for you, 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 16, 12, 14, 16, 12, 13, 15, 12, 14, 15. That's what you're tabbing out. Now we get to the final and darkest of all the patterns, the diminished. The demon of all of them, the darkest. I know you guys, some of you guys, darkness is dark. This is a very dark scale. It's so dark we hardly ever use it, or the chords for that matter. But let's begin the pattern that begins on this righteous letter. F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. They're the same already, right? Same pattern already. F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. Half step here, whole step there. Half step here, whole step there. F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. Those are the same, even those two. Now we go to the C and we repeat it again. C, D, E. And now we go in for that F sharp, the G, and the A. So what do we get? We get the Locrian pattern, it's called. And this is F sharp Locrian. F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A. 14, 15, 17, 14, 15, 17, 14, 16, 17, 14, 16, 17, 13, 15, 17, 14, 15, 17. All right, you see that? So then we summarize that for you. Oof. Sounds totally. If you root off this F sharp, it just sounds like you're stopping in the middle of the scale. It doesn't even sound like anything. It should sound like it should go there. But we don't use that scale. We use the pattern because it's a nasty pattern. But you've got to know it well because it's a tough one to play because you're jostling all over the frets. You're in and out a lot. He goes same, moves to this. But then the big move out, you got to move out for this. And then you got to come back in. So when you're talking super speed, either you've got to be really, really good at making those switches, or you just avoid that box for super speed. A lot of players, I don't want to even say most, but a lot of players you'll find when you start watching people play and you're learning somebody's songs, you'll see this Dorian pattern used a lot because it doesn't involve all 4 fingers. It's just 3 fingers, and everything starts in the same fret. So when you have those 2 things working for you in a box, it makes it a great box for learning to go fast. So if you're trying to build speed and you're one of those guys who wants to develop your picking speeds, then this box is a great box to use. Because you don't have to worry about popping the second finger in, and you don't have to worry about jumping into another fret and going back and forth. So when you learn it in Dorian, you're going to see that every other box is not as easy as Dorian to get speed in, because you almost don't even have to think while you're playing it. It's just almost like you don't have to think. It's just so easy. It's the same pattern. The whole thing is the 3rd finger every single time, right? The only difference is you got to move the pinky out a couple times. That's about it. Everything else is the same. And if you didn't have to move the pinky, then the whole entire box is the same exact fingering. Up the so it's barely even different, right? When you're from here to go to this, it's so minute. It's almost you might as well just be playing the same frets the whole way across. Dorian is a much easier box to shred through or rip through or play through, even if you're not shredding and you just want to be a decent guitar player for blues or rock. And it's such an easier box to be in than to have to come over here and navigate this box, and then still. You still got to find your E notes, so you're still going to be romping around. And you'll wind up in your 6th pattern anyway if you start in this pattern. Because it's raunchy to try to stay here and then locate, to be there. It's very, very limiting. So you're going to want to move around that pattern. But now that you know all the different patterns, you know all 7, how to build them, you would just apply them to another key. So let's just say, for the easy sake of being simple, let's move everything real quickly before we, say, hey, I know this down. In case you don't, you need to see it again. Let's look and see how they compare to the next key. In C major, the pattern would be the same as it was in G. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, right? Be the same thing, E, F, G, G, A, B, C, D, E. Identical. The second pattern will begin on D. Will be the same pattern you played when you were on the A in the key of G. And the third pattern, Phrygian, begins on E, where before it began on B, it was B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Well, now it's going to be E, F, G, A, B, C. Same fingering. Half step comes first, then the whole step, and then the half step comes last on this one. So the pattern is the same in every key. Let's look. B, C, D. It's the same. So once you learn your 7 patterns, you take the 7 letters of another key, and you play those patterns on those letters. So if you're in the key of F, then the first pattern, Ionian, begins all the way back here on F. And your Dorian pattern would begin on G. And would be the same pattern that you played on A. And then you just move it over to here. So it'd be this. So if you play, you could practice moving everything over as you learn it. When you learn the Ionian box, when you get the second pattern, you go to G major, you learn it. You do 3. I'm doing 3 strings at a time to show you that you could just keep repeating it. I don't have to show you the whole thing, but go to the next key over, right? So the key of A has it on the B. In the key of B, it's on the C sharp, the second one. Right? You're in D major, then the second one would be E. Do you see? It's the same pattern that goes with every single. Every key has the same patterns with different letters. So the patterns stay the same, but the letters change. And that's all you have to do is learn how to change the letter that goes with the pattern. So patterns and letters, letters and patterns, right? If you know the notes in your key, you just apply these to them. So a good thing to do would be to maybe write down the order of your modes so you learn them. So maybe you write something like this. And you just write the names of your patterns. Ionian, Dorian, Lydian, Phrygian, Lydian, then it's Mixolydian, then Aeolian, then Locrian, right? You just write out your patterns so you know the names of them so you can rifle them off fast. Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian. You got to know them. And you have to know them that quick. Now that you know all your patterns, you can practice each pattern individually and then work on your basic techniques of getting in and out of patterns. So you may be in Dorian, and you need to get into this Aeolian over here. So now you can start practicing simple little moves for you guys that are just getting started, and where you take a move and you slide it into the next box. So when you're sliding in, if you're over here, look over here, because you want to look where you're going, not where you are. So over here you go, and then you look at this new box on 15, and you bring the finger right to 15 because that's where you're looking. So you can practice now simple little things that will get you up and down the neck and into another pattern. So if you learn a pattern and then you learn another pattern, you can connect them with slides. Otherwise, you learn a pattern and then the next one next to it, and then you slide in and out of that pattern. So you'd be like, and now you're in two patterns, this one and this one. Or you do a little thing. Now you've got now you're using both patterns. And you can go right up the other. You can go over and up whenever you want in whatever pattern you're in. So it's important to get these patterns down ASAP because they open up your world. And they're also going to be what we're going to be using in the following lessons because we need these patterns as to reference back to things in the pattern, to notes in the patterns, because now you're starting to figure out that every single note you play in a key is in a pattern. So everything's going to come back to you knowing what pattern you're in and where you are in the setup. So if you're looking for a G chord and you're over here, you got to know that you're in the Phrygian pattern for the key of G. If you're in the key of A major and you're over here, then you know you're in the Ionian pattern for the key of A. So you need to memorize your patterns so you know what pattern you're in to find what you're looking for. It all ties together. And one of these lessons, you're going to go, oh my God, I see everything all at once now. I see everything he's talking about all at one time. That means all your bells went off, and now you have mastered the guitar. You are now becoming the master. When you can see everything from the aerial view like a helicopter shot looking down at everything, you're like, wow, I see everything. Then yes, you're beginning to master it all. When you can see all the patterns, when you can see guitar chords in the patterns, when you can find shapes. We're going to go over so much about other things that involve these patterns now that you've got an idea how to build them. So spend the week building these patterns. Ask me some questions if you get stuck, right? You're going back and you're figuring things out from the other videos to make sure you know how to build the keys and chords properly. And you're going to get your notes and you're going to go building your patterns like you did today. I'm proud of you guys for sticking through the complete session of this video all the way and picking up everything I had to offer you. This is great stuff. It's not hard to learn. If you have a question, please, by all means, ask me. I will help you. I'm here to help you out. Share these videos if you can. Share them with your friends. Share them with somebody else that may be able to use them. Trying to get my name out there to help more people because my goal is to help 1 million guitar players reach their best. So if I'm able to help you reach your best, well, you know, in all fairness, I want to be able to help somebody else too. And maybe you allow me to help somebody else or you help me help somebody else by sharing the videos. Or at least telling somebody, hey man, if you need to learn your theory, go watch this guy. It doesn't cost you anything. You know, sit back and enjoy learning some guitar. Thanks for watching, guys. The next video is going to be a slammer. I already am working on putting it together for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in another one.